What's wrong with him?
His girl just broke it off.
It's her father. He doesn't want her dating a zombie.
Why? What are they, demons?
She is predeceased.
An outsider?
Mm-hmm. Man, you're asking for trouble.
She broke my heart.
You're a zombie. Technically, you don't even have a heart.
After all of the great cinema that we brought to the world, and we still get no respect.
I don't know why he doesn't like me. I'm responsible. A full-time job.
You work at a haunted house in October.
I'm trying to be healthy. She's a vegan, so...
Wait, you're giving up meat?
Oh, come on.
What are you gonna do? Attack a farmer's market to try to impress her?
Now, if he was a vampire, you'd have a much better chance with her death.
Yeah, those pretty bastards.
I didn't think this would be that hard.
Hard? Man, I'm a zombie and I'm black.
Here we go.
I blame the educational system.
I blame the media.
I blame George Romero.
Oh. How could you be so disrespectful?
Coffee?
Zombies don't know much, but they do know good coffee. Deadly Grounds. It's coffee to die for. And zombie approved.
Who's George Romero?
Just have some coffee.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an incredible show for you as always, and we'll kick it off fast. Kari, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great, Leo. Glad to have you back tonight. I'm glad you took care of that storm for us last night. Hi, Dylan. Glad to have you with us again tonight. Just wanted to let you know I passed on David Hartman's stuff to Dean, and he says thank you very much. He quite enjoyed it. But let's get this show started. Let's go over and see how Jar is doing.
Jar.
Hey, it's freaking Wednesday, man. What are we doing here? This is crazy. All right. Hey, Dylan, and hey, everybody else. I was gonna be late, but I made it. So yay, me. All right, on to Drew, so we can get our guests out here.
Hi, everybody. This is my friend, because I just want Kari not to have a tear. This is someone from my childhood who decided to make an appearance. So, yeah, little spud. I only show that because we're getting close to Halloween, as Kari knows. But we have an absolutely fantastic guest. He's been on the show before, and we are just thrilled that he said yes to coming back, because... Thank you so much. If you're reading a lot of DC right now, you'll definitely know his name. He's an absolute legend whose work you can find on Batman and Robin Year One, The World's Finest, the new history of the DC Universe, Action Comics. He's to be working on a tie-in for DCKO called Impulse Control. There's a smattering of other things. So everybody, the guy who puts the W in Wednesdays, Mr. Waid.
Woo!
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Leo, I swear to God, I feel like we need to record our pre-show banter, because sometimes we just get going and I forget we're not recording, and then we're talking stuff and I'm like, no, we can't do that again. We can't have them repeated. It's not the same.
Yeah, it
Well,
doesn't
also,
feel
you
as
should have told
natural
me
the
we were.
second time around.
You should have told me we were doing stuffed animals because I could have brought my outfit.
Well,
I know. I could have brought out Jar Jar. I could have.
Oh, there we go.
Jar Jar.
I got
You
nothing.
got Mark.
I got a big fat load of nothing here. That's it.
I
So
don't have any puppets, so that's sad.
First thing, Mark, I just need to say for the record, you are just spectacular to talk to because every time you're just telling me these stories, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. Just swapping stories, like we're sitting around at a bar drinking
yeah,
after the con. I mean, again, like, but speaking of just a story, I just have to ask you about.
Mhm.
If you were one of the creators that got asked to come to on set for Superman.
yes,
You and a bunch of others for James Gunn's Superman, and we all thoroughly enjoyed the movie. So, I mean, as
Yeah.
someone who's contributed to the Man of Steel, what was that like? Not just being there, but being amongst, like, I don't want to say like but kind of these comic book legends, which you are considered
Mhm.
one of. What was all that like? The invite, being there, and then the whole thing.
it would have been great.
Oh.
It would have been. You were talking about the set visit and stuff. That thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it wasn't there. I had
Oh,
a convention to go to,
I'm
so I couldn't make it. And so all these
Wow.
pictures are circulating the next couple of 3 days. And I'm looking at all my friends, and I felt like a kid with strep throat on a snow day, like watching everybody else frolic and have a blast. And I'm at home, just kind of. I'm at and worse, it's a convention where no one showed up. It was in Sweden. They
Oh
don't care anything
man.
about superheroes. I think I signed like 4 comics in 3 days, but everybody else had a great time. Luckily, 2 weeks later, I got the call to visit the Fantastic Four set in
oh,
London, and Marvel would, the plan would Marvel would take me over there. I was on my way to a convention. I couldn't make that one either.
Oh
So,
my god.
ah,
Look at you though for actually making your conventions and everything, because like I know a few people that probably would have been like, set a Superman Sweden
but
convention. I'm going to set a Superman.
yeah, but a commitment's a commitment. It's just
Mm.
I probably ducked out on 2 conventions my entire career, and almost always because of illness. I just don't. I don't like the idea of people showing up with 6 omnibuses in their backpack and I'm not there.
well, one, I am so sorry. I didn't realize that you weren't there. I
No,
could
that's fine. No, it gives me. I like telling that story. It's a good story to tell. You set me up nicely. All good.
I could have sworn I saw your name in one of the photos, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Because we we've interviewed you and we've talked about Superman before, and I was like, "Oh, that's great," because Birthright is still one of my favorite origin
Thank
stories
you.
for Superman. So I was like, "Oh, good," and then the same thing with Fantastic Four. I mean, your stuff is fantastic.
Thank you.
Um,
4 times.
To my credit, apparently at the Superman thing, every single creator who got off the plane was like, "Where's Mark? He's got to be here, right?" So, I was missed if nothing else. And then
That's got to feel good.
Matt Fraction took me aside after the Fantastic Four one and said, You're really gonna love this." And he was absolutely right. Like, no notes. That movie was terrific. Both of them were, but there was much more to get wrong with Fantastic Four, and they didn't. I think they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I absolutely have to agree on that. Like, I saw Superman the day after I lost my job, and I'm just
Oh,
an emotional wreck. And that movie just hyped me right back up. I was like, you know what? It's gonna be okay.
yeah.
Like, and the Fantastic Four, just walking in, I was like, wow, this is really, like, again, this the only ones we had were the Roger Corman, which I think
Yeah.
is now more of a pop culture reference than it is actually a movie. I've never seen it. And then,
Oh, it's something.
yeah,
So
exactly. It's something, pun intended. And then the other two, but this one, I was like, wow, this is just hitting all the notes.
yeah,
The
both
galactic-
both of them. And I think that the secret to their success, and I think that it is fortuitous they both movies stumbled onto the formula, which
Mhm.
is in every other superhero movie, as a general rule, the superhero is the fantastic element in an
Right.
otherwise fairly familiar world. And this flipped the script. Both of the movies did. Like, this is our crazy ass world. Come in here where there's flying robots and there's, Herbie and there's cosmic rays and there's Supergirl and there's Green Lantern. I love that. It just like you're coming into a world that's already built, and I don't have to sit through another origin story. And I just thought that was really smart.
Well, absolutely. And then I think the other thing that's good, and everybody else, please chime in because I feel like I'm doing that thing where I'm talking too much again. Well, I feel like, thank you. Say Waid said that. There's always something to talk about, which is fantastic. We had Dean Haspiel on, as I told you yesterday, and he came with this whole thing like, oh, Ben Grimm but Jack Kirby basically made Ben Grimm like a golem. And I'm like, oh my, like I never thought about that. I'm like, wow, like these characters have been around like 60 something fucking years, no pun intended, excuse my language, and we're still
figuring out new things about them. I know. The compliments I get that I treasure the most are when my Superman editor says, well, I never thought about it that way before, when I've come up with a bunch of, and I'm feeding him stuff I've been thinking about all my life about, why Pete Ross is the coolest character in the Superboy universe, or why it's okay to have a secret identity. It's not a lie, and all this kind of stuff. He's just been thinking about it for a long ass time.
Agreed. Guys, this is your cue.
Well, my favorite thing.
You're gonna be done.
I'm sorry, I was a little distracted, but my favorite thing of the Fantastic Four is they finally redeemed our view of Galactus.
Thank God! Yeah. Well, you knew from the trailer though that gigantic shadow following over Manhattan with the big horns.
I have to say, I was more impressed with Up in Space. I felt like him on his throne. I was just like, this is Galactus. He was just immense.
This is what happens when you choose to not be embarrassed by the source material and instead embrace it.
Agreed.
Leo, I know you're a big fan of Fantastic Four, no?
Oh, yeah, actually, I was pulling up right here just so we can show Mark. So after the movie, I tried to have this ready for Terrificon, but I 3D printed a 3-foot tall Galactus.
Wow, that's amazing looking.
Yeah,
how long did that take?
Took about 2 months to print, and about 2 days to put together.
And we got
amazing.
130 something pieces, and it's fully articulated, like an action.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I cannot have a 3D printer. I cannot, because that would be the end of me. I would spend all my time doing that. Luckily, I found a guy who's a huge comics fan, huge Silver Age comics fan, and has a 3D printer and is a master of it. So I'm just getting stuff, every month I just give him another request. Can you make this for me? Can you make that for me? And so that only helps to add to the library.
Yeah, I hold back from asking Leo all the time, make me this, make me that.
He made me all of these.
Oh yeah, cool. The ghosts. Yeah, check out Gambody, Gambody. They have some. That's where I got the Galactus. It's not called Galactus, and I think they have a couple different Marvel characters there as well. But
what part of this will ruin me did you not hear?
I'm sorry.
I cannot have one. I can only when I retire someday can I have one.
If you're looking for ideas to send your friend,
I would, however, have a Fortress of Solitude to die for. So,
oh my God,
anyway. That would be awesome.
I would
you must have some questions for a guy who writes 6 books a month.
A month. My biggest question is, how do you keep it all straight? I always wonder, especially for writers, like, do you have a room that is like just filled with notes that have string, like the string thing going
like a serial
everywhere?
Killer's board?
Yeah.
No, it's pretty easy to keep straight in my mind. I even if I'm juggling 2 or 3 different scripts at the same time, which I'm often doing, I'm writing 3 different scripts this week in pieces just to feed artists, which is no way to go. But sometimes, especially as we start to creep near the holidays, we've got to accelerate production. So I don't know, that question just never registers with me. Like it's not a thing. I don't have a hard time keeping it straight.
You don't sit there every now and again also I'm fucking wrote myself into a wall here. I don't even know where to go with this. Like,
Oh, every month. I mean, I've said this before, but like I write all my cliffhangers, and this is the God's honest truth, with no idea how to get out of them. Like, and so a month from now, that Mark Waid is cursing this Mark Waid. Dude, what? Where did you think this was going to go? And so it forces me to be creative because I'm a problem solver. I'm a puzzle guy. I love puzzles. I love riddles. I love figuring stuff out. So I'm constantly painting myself in a corner with maybe the vaguest idea of how the next issue is going to open, but maybe not. And then I figure if I don't know, then you won't be able to guess, and we'll all be surprised.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. So you're literally your own Mr. Miracle. You're just escaping your own death.
Or as Chris Samney puts it, I build the plane while I fly it. Yes.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So, quick question for new history of the DC universe. So you've basically been tasked with, documenting, what the actual canon is. And one thing that I loved is like Killing Joke is now canon. You've solidified that. Has there been any feedback that you've received that you're like, oh my, I didn't think that was that big of an issue? Or
yes, the biggest one was saying that Hippolyta, Wonder Woman's mother, had come to man's world during World War II and had become Wonder Woman in the Justice Society for a very short period. I thought that was the easiest and most elegant fix to that problem. The only other solution is to come up with some other character who could have been there in her place, like Fury or Miss America or whatever. And those things never stick. Like those substitutions don't always work. And so that was the one that seemed to upset people the most. A lot of times quibbles were about the way that they interpreted what was written as opposed to what was actually written. And everybody has their deep cut favorites too, right? So everybody's like, oh, you didn't do justice to Shade the Changing Man. Like, I have 120 pages. This is, I got, look, it is a project that I thoroughly enjoyed doing and would never, ever do again.
Right.
It was, if I had it all to do over again, the first thing I would do is I would go on strike until they gave me 5 issues instead of 4. Because I only had 20 more pages than Marv Wolfman and George Perez had. And they had only 40 years of history and I had 80 years of history. So that was a struggle as you get into issues 3 and 4, especially 4, where everything becomes less about character introductions and more just about event. And there was a point at which I had to go back and make sure I would say something like, and then Hawkman returned to life. And then I would think, wait, I don't think I mentioned that he died before this in the previous pages of this thing. I got to go back and look. And so there are places where I just kind of gloss over all the death and resurrection because, shouldn't you mention that Aquaman died here? No, because he's going to be back in 2 pages and it just takes up space and it becomes redundant. That was part of it. But yeah, it was a process. I mean, I took it very seriously. I sat down and we did the timelines first. Me and Dave Weisselgoff came, into it, making a really, for instance, the timeline manuscript for the first issue was 57 pages long. There was no way to fit that in the comic, but that was covering absolutely everything because I wanted to do the timelines first to make sure that it'd be the easiest way to make sure I didn't forget something, right? I didn't leave something out. There were still moments. There's still one glaring omission, but we'll get to that in a minute. And the timelines were the fun part to me. The upfront stuff was fun, but not, as we got further in, it was not as much fun because it was really just trying to figure out how do you explain all of Blackest Night in 100 words? How do you do all of Final Crisis in 150 words and not have a million characters on every single page and make your artist hate you? So,
yeah.
But, overall, the response has been good. Overall, there's one whiny critic online, but other than that, she can take a hike.
There's always one.
Yeah, but other than that, the reception's been pretty good.
Oh, well, I just want to say, as in terms of just props, thank you so much for one. I love Milestone. How you that was
Look,
yeah.
all credit to the Milestone guys on that, because I wasn't sure if I was allowed to put them in. I don't know if we could put them in, and that was not even a thing until we got a little further into it, and Reggie Hudlin and the Milestone guys said, we trust Mark. Let's do this. So let's put them in, which I'm very grateful for, because I'm glad it just would have been a lesser work without the Milestone characters.
Oh yeah, and then of course, as a fan, as a big '90s DC fan, I mean that you included my beloved Jack Knight, Starman, and then
Sure.
Monaghan, aka Hitman. Like, I was like, they're canon. Like,
Yeah.
go.
And there's tons of stuff that is canon that's just not there because there's only so much room. But I think the ones that, like, the biggest patches that I think we made to continuity on the page were leaving the death of Supergirl in Crisis intact, so that, and then having her return be, still fairly in continuity as Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness did it in Superman Batman. So there were times like there were just a matter of meshing certain things together. But I think that's probably the biggest kind of patch we had to make. But by and large, it still all kind of fit together.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, it was just such a love letter to DC history, and I thought you did a great job. So
thanks.
Yeah, man.
Who else
I
thinks I did a great job?
Agree.
Real quick from the audience, Dylan says, "I do not envy you with this timeline project. Overwhelming is an understatement." Yeah,
but it's rolling my alley. I mean, there is no such thing as trivia when it comes to DC Comics to me. I just love it all. So the assembling of the facts, all that stuff, it was just fun. But like I said, when it was all said and done, never again. Never again. Let somebody else take the next swing at this 40 years from now.
Good to know.
I was really happy that you added in, and I know that you mentioned this before last time we had you on when you were planning it, but the endless, just because I like that little nod of, some people don't think it's,
right. They're important to the, I mean, public relations disasters aside, for certain creators, they're an important part of the DC universe. They have been, and Destiny predates the Sandman stuff.
Right.
So that's a character that needs to be there. So yeah, we did our best. That's all I can tell you is we just, and if there's somebody who you love who isn't there, it doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means that I have 120 pages.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So you want to hop over and talk a little Batman and Robin?
Oh yeah.
Year one. I have really, really been enjoying this book. I'm reading a couple different Batmans at once, but it is so much fun, and I love the way you're doing with you have the focus going on in half of the story of the family dynamic, and Bruce doesn't know how to be a dad. He just leaves all that to Alfred, and and Alfred's just like, you adopted him, you brought him in here, he's yours to deal with. You can't make me keep taking care of him, and the social services getting involved. It's genius because it forces the family dynamic on him.
I think thank you. I think the thing we brought to it that I don't think anybody's brought to it before is this idea of like buyer's remorse. This idea of Bruce after a couple of months going, hang on, did I do the right thing by myself? Did I do the right thing by the kid? I don't know. And bringing together a Bruce and Dick who don't mesh,
right,
was something that was pretty new. I don't know that anybody's ever done that either. They always fall into lockstep pretty quickly. And that I saw, Chris and I both saw opportunities to bend those rules a little bit. And the thing I kept focusing on and hammering on is that you have put together a character in Batman who is self-reliant and who refuses help from pretty much everybody and is all about doing it on his own. And you've put him together with somebody whose very life, every single night in the circus tent, depended upon teamwork.
Yeah. And
That's the thing about
I
having
love how it
4 different
represents
hosts is
that.
that nobody knows when to talk. So there's a
Wait,
lot of dead air
yeah,
here.
Yeah.
we've
Well,
been. You go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Jar Jar, you're muted.
I know.
well, well, another one that I wanted to bring up is the way you wrote Alfred as kind of the comic relief. Like he had some of the best zingers, but the
Thank you.
one that just really got me was one that Leo had up. Was I think it's around Dick went to school, and then he lasted an hour, and it's back, and it's Bruce using Wayne as a verb.
It's a verb. Yeah, exactly. I waned them into doing this, meaning I used my cudgel of wealth and fame to make this happen. Yes.
I was like, and then the fact that you actually had Alfred's like, did you just use Wayne
It's
as
a
a
verb.
like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That just wow, fantastic, just hands down. But you and Chris, I mean, God, I remember just loving your collaboration on Daredevil back in Marvel, and then the second is like, oh, we're doing Batman and Robin year one. I'm like, this is gonna be a masterpiece, just
Thank you.
visually, like just overall stunning in every issue. Like every issue, never like I was like, this is year one. This is how it went. There's no question.
I am really happy with the way it turned. Last issue came out today. Really happy with the way it turned out. Chris is a bomb and like over the moon with how well it turned out. Everybody brought their game. You know, Clayton Cowell's letterer and Matt Lopez, the colorist. Everybody was a team here. And Andrew Marino, the editor, kept everything together. And I'm really happy with what we came up with. And it's an interesting work process. I don't hand Chris a full script like I do normally with other artists. Instead we get on the phone, we knock ideas back and forth. I have an outline for the whole run, which is maybe 3.5, 4 pages that just kind of story beats. We get on the phone, we talk about each issue, we knock ideas around. I then take that and turn it into a document that's maybe 3 pages long or so. It's, broken up by beat. And then it's up to Chris to sort of choreograph it and add some life to it. And he's constantly adding things to it and tweaking stuff so the pages come back for me to dialogue. And a lot of times it's just, well, I only needed 1 panel to get that plot point across, and I got 5 other panels in this page. What the hell are they saying? But there's a lot of the witty things that you like are because I sat there for hours at a time staring at an empty balloon that Chris put on the page. And, okay, I got to fill that with something, but it turned out well.
I also really.
Drew,
Yeah, what?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say Drew brought this picture up, but I just have to say this was amazing. And Drew, you'll probably add on to it. Showing how Dick is a mirror to Batman, how they're so similar, but also how they're so different. With just showing the emotion, where Dick just breaks down and hugs Alfred. This scene was just friggin' amazing.
I could write Dick Grayson every day for the rest of my life. He's the greatest character to write.
I mean, the fact that again, and it's funny because I remember, I think it was Absolute Power. Like you gave him like that moment to shine, and I was like, absolutely, like just Dick.
Yeah, everybody, like all the heroes are together in the Fortress of Solitude, and they're all buzzing, and they're all in little sub cliques, and they're all trying to figure out what to do. And all of a sudden, Nightwing's voice just cuts across the crowd. And he's standing there and he's starting to give orders, and everyone, including Superman and Batman, just look up at him like, yeah, all right. Batman's like, that's my kid. Because everybody else in the DC universe figures out anyone who could be Batman's sidekick and live through the experience.
Oh, right.
Deserves to be listened to. They must know a thing or two.
Now, when you're writing an emotional scene like this, does it get you as well?
Oh, yeah.
Do you
if it doesn't get me, I'm not going to write it.
That's fantastic.
I don't have. Look, I write the kind of comics I want to read. That's really what I do. And the emotional beats are very important. Every issue needs to have some sort of emotional beat to it, or else it's just a crossword puzzle. It's a haiku. It's a structure without any heart to it. So that's important. But those are the moments that get me. And if I can make myself sort of get all mushy inside when I think of something, I'll definitely share it with you. But that I have to know, I have to feel this stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
on the opposite side of Mushi,
Mhm.
there's a relationship between Grimaldi and his father. And
Yeah.
that was just, that is so powerful and great. And just seeing this older man who had everything, I love what you did with that.
Thank you.
And how it counterpoints everything that's all the different relationships that are going on.
Right.
There's not a lot of trust in many places at this point yet. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's getting to know each other. In this case, they're falling apart because he's an asshole. But
Right. And there's not a lot of trust in Gotham in general. Yeah.
No.
Well, and speaking of trust, I mean, one of the, like, I swear, like that, it was, I think it's the moment where Batman is having them declare a truce, and it's
Mhm.
the bomb scenario. Like, literally, I was like, this would be like, my mind was just imagining it like on a big screen or in a show, and I was like, just the fact that literally there's this bomb, and he's just going to let it go off, and it's like, did you declare a truce? And they're like, yeah. I said, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we
Yeah.
struck a deal. It's like, I don't want to do this, but it's about saving lives. I was like, this is the most boss moment ever. Like, literally.
Thank you. And I think that was Chris. I want to remember that was mostly Chris, but good for him.
Well, either way, that was just cinematic.
Thanks.
Just especially like how you and him pace everything. It's just, how do I say this? You guys make it look like the easiest thing. When I
Thank you. It is far from that, but
yeah.
it is in a sense it is, because it is Chris's dream project. There's nothing else in comics he has wanted to do this badly his entire life. There's nothing he's enjoyed this much, and that comes across in every single page.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It sounds like this relationship's like one of the best like partnerships you've had.
It really is. I've been very lucky to be close partners with, Michael Ringo and Barry Kitson and Umberto Ramos over the years, and a bunch of other people who are going to be mad because I forgot their names. But Chris he's so good at what he does. He is so good at every aspect of what he does. He's a good storyteller. He is, his art is exquisite. He uses the very minimal number of lines on the page to tell the story. There's no clutter. There's no, it's easy and clean to look at. I mean, we are very much in sync, and I love that. I love working with Chris about that, and I'm never letting that guy go. Like, he can cross the street and maybe do a mini series with somebody maybe someday, but not, he can't, like, I'll let him cross the street, but I won't let him get in a car with a stranger because he'll never come back.
Fair enough. I mean, I can only imagine he'd be like, no, Batman and Robin year 2, let's go. And you'd be like, oh,
Let's go. Yeah, let's
Well,
go.
what
Look,
I think
it would be his dream. So
amazing is like even on that page that Leo keeps showing, there's like that little bit of dialogue, and yet so much
it's all
emotion
there.
is
I know.
portrayed through it.
Sometimes my job is really easy. Sometimes I look at that and I'm like, I don't need to fill this up with a bunch of word balloons. Chris pulled it all off. There are huge silent sequences all through this series because they just don't need the words.
And I think that's another thing I kind of realized that you excel really well at it, is you like filling in blanks in history. Like, for example, your Action Comics story that you're doing now, you have, it's in the past, it's where Superman is Superboy, and he's still like, and he's finding out, oh, one of my teachers is actually forgotten, but superhero who's testing me, and then I'm doing these things. I still don't know the limits. Like, you're filling in stories that we didn't know we needed, where it's just, I am like, again, it's like, oh yeah, like, it just shows not only the depth of how much, because again, we've talked about how much you love Superman. I mean, one of your first was Superman related. But it's just, you're just filling in these gaps. And I'm like, yeah, like, that makes sense. Like, yeah, this is how that influenced who he is.
It's
So
just so much fun to write a Superman who doesn't know what he's doing yet, because you don't get to write him learning on the job when he's an adult. You shouldn't, because by the time Superman shows him Metropolis and starts being Superman, he's got it pretty well figured out. But to be able to write Clark Kent desperately trying to figure this out as he goes, look at the costume. It's not made out of blankets from Krypton yet. Doesn't even have any idea to do that. They're just the Kents are just making this up as they go. That's why he's wearing, Converse sneakers, because for those who weren't there from the start of this run, the concept is it's Clark's 15th birthday. The Kents have promised him on his 16th birthday that he can debut as Superboy, but until then he has to keep it secret because there are still a lot of things that they have to figure out. They haven't figured out the secret identity. They haven't figured out the costume. They haven't figured out any of this stuff. And that's the promise. And then on his 15th birthday, by some twist of fate, he ends up having to be Superboy. And now the runner in the whole series is the Kents and Clark are always like barely one step ahead of everybody else, just trying to figure this whole Superboy thing out as they go, making it up on the fly and trying desperately to stay ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Superman Adventures haven't stolen this story.
Yeah,
this is great for a television cartoon.
We'll see.
It really is. I think it really is. This is, how did Superman become Superman? And not like, how did Clark Kent put on a suit, but more like, no, how did you go from being a farm boy who is getting superpowers to being a superhero? That's a long road.
Yeah.
It's a lot of simple steps too that are just amazing. Like you mentioned Martha giving him the glasses, cut down the color of his eyes was just making that reference was awesome.
Just a little simple thing like that. It's just, it changes the shape of his face and it helps cut because Superboy has like the bluest blue eyes in the world. Like anybody can look in Superman's eyes and just go woozy, because they're just such a brilliant blue. But if you do that to Clark, you cut the blue, and it's every little bit helps as they're trying to figure out how this whole thing works.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And then it's but again, you're working on that, and then you apply the same kind of logic you're doing in Justice League Unlimited, and that you have so many characters.
Got all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you give, like, again, I feel like sometimes with team books, it's really hard for people to get kind of not like they're just background, but everybody has their moment. Everybody is used, like you have your spin-off books, because then those characters see a little bit more action than the main, and then it's just like, again, you missed a career in circus skills because you juggled.
I really try hard in team book. I really do. I keep trading cards in front of me for all the characters, just as a visual aid, so I can remember who's done something, who still hasn't done something. Aquaman's not had a line of dialogue yet. We haven't done anything with Mary Marvel in this scene yet. And it is a constant juggling act, a balancing act, because if they're going to be in the story, they should serve a purpose. I don't like a lot of characters standing around as cannon fodder, just standing there.
Yeah, and even at this point, where we're kind of getting into the depth of DCKO, so you got a lot on. You've got the Time Trapper and his merry band trying to save the world, and you've got the Justice League Limited, and then you even got all these forgotten heroes.
My favorite ones,
time displaced heroes, and I'm like, oh my god, like you've got Hook Hand Aquaman, and you've got Batman,
Electric Blue Superman, figure skater Superman, speed skater Superman,
and you even got like Batman Beyond, which is one of my favorite bands, and I'm just like, this is fantastic. That Jonah Hex is there. I'm like, oh my god, like I lose track. I'm like, I have to like read the book before. I'm like, okay, so that's what happened last week. Okay,
look, we said Unlimited. So let's do it.
Absolutely. No, that but speaking of kind of going back, aren't you, correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing a tie-in to DCKO that's Bart related, right? It's impulse control.
Yeah, full Flash. I'm taking over Flash for 6 issues with writer Christopher Cantwell, who did the series *Halt and Catch Fire* on HBO. It was great. He did the *Challengers of the Unknown*
Mhm.
miniseries at DC earlier this year, which was terrific. I
Right.
Oh, I gotta
cannot
check that
endorse
out.
that enough. *Challengers of the Unknown*. If you haven't read that thing, great series.
Mhm.
So
I
he and
love
I are
the
working
Silver
together
Age
on
show.
that. And as a KO tie-in, the idea, what are some of the other speedsters doing during the KO event? And in
Right.
this case, Impulse has taken upon himself to do a Flashpoint, to do a sort of, I can fix all this. I can go back in time and kill Darkseid before he was born, or whatever it is. And it's a terrible plan. As all Flashes know, Flashpoint kind of things are a really bad idea. So Impulse is going in the past and mucking around, and Wally is desperately trying to chase after him, and it is chaos. He's everything he does just makes things worse.
Now, is it more difficult where you're, because you're not the only writer for KO? You got Scott Snyder. I don't
Gosh,
even
Yeah,
know.
Josh Williamson. Yeah,
Yeah. Is it more difficult trying to collaborate with so many people?
I mean, it's a challenge sometimes, but what we have in our corner is we have editor Paul Kaminsky and his merry band of assistants and associates, and they are really good. I say this after 40 years of doing this. I've never seen an editorial team that is so good about coordinating and showing stuff and making sure the lines of communication are open. So there's no mystery here. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing, and the communication flow is there. So there's not a lot of fumbles here. We all kind of know what the game plan is. So
Uh,
it's
I was going to
that makes
ask
it
you if you
much
had
easier.
any ideas on who might win, but it sounds like you know who wins. So
I
let's
do
not
actually
get
know who
into that.
wins. I do actually know who wins. So
All right.
So
but
Sub
I
Zero.
like the whole bracket thing. I want to do a
it's
fantasy
very
football.
cool. The bracket stuff is really cool. We just finished doing. I think we're soliciting it. Maybe we already solicited it. We're going to do the in Flash. We do one issue that is the bracket battles between Jay Garrick and Guy Gardner.
Very cool.
And on top of it, seeing Max Mercury back
Yeah.
in, I mean, that just brings back all the begrudging guardian of looking after Bart that I remembered from Impulse and like, oh my god, like as like the long suffering Max Mercury looking after Bart, being like, please don't do this.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna do it. I'm like,
They
oh
have
boy.
such a great relationship. So, and then but the tables are flipped now because now we're in the past, and Impulse is dealing with a very young Max Mercury who doesn't quite know what he's doing yet, which
Right.
messes Bart's head up terrifically.
No, it's so good. Again,
Thank you.
so good.
Who do you
If you ever
write
need an
that you
ego
think?
boost, just let us
Oh, I'm
know.
sorry.
We'll...
Yeah.
Yeah. If you
We're
ever
gonna
need
have
an
you and be
ego
like,
boost,
this
Drew
is
will
just
hook it
really
up.
good. We love
Thank
what
you.
you're doing. I don't have any
Thank you.
questions. I just want to tell you, you're great.
Thank you.
You're-
And World's Finest is a blast. I'm still having we haven't had a chance to talk about that. That's been a ball. We're almost to issue 50 and I'm not going anywhere. And that book continues to sell at a really steady pace, which is pretty unusual in this industry for something to have that many issues under its belt and still be that successful. So God bless. I just think
That's when you
people
know you're
enjoy
doing it
coming
right.
and finding a Superman and Batman book they can find that stands alone and isn't part of a bunch of other crossovers.
Well, yeah, and then again, like the stories that you keep telling with it, not only just the stories, but also like the collaborators. Like I swear, like I mean, when you first started, you had like the great Dan Mora, and
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those artists who I've said it just like Jim Lee. I was like, man, they can make a rock look amazing. Just draw this rock, and I'm like, that's the greatest rock I've ever seen. Like I would that drawing. But yeah, you just like again, your collaborators just always bring the material, and everything is like you just balance out your Batman and Superman so well with their world. Because again, I feel like it's so easy. It's like, oh, it's this one is a bit more than no. Everything again. here you reaching 50, here to 50 more. That's what I'm
exactly. And
You-
I think the secret of that is that I believe that Batman and Superman should be friends. I understand all the philosophical reasons why writers put them at each other's throats, or where they're butting heads and they're not alike and this and that. But, and I may have said this last time I was on. If I have, I apologize for repeating myself. But even if you take away the fact that they're both decent human beings and they're not going to be dicks to each other, even if you take that away,
Mhm.
if you look at it from the Batman point of view, if Batman's whole thing is being the master strategist, right?
Right.
To use every tool at his disposal to help make the world a better place. That is not someone who goes and makes an enemy of the most powerful person on earth. Why would you do that? That makes no sense.
Right.
Superman can only be a help.
Agreed.
But
Well, that was also thinking back to like the Tom King run, with his interactions with Batman and Superman
Yeah.
during the weddings, issues. That was, I know Tom King gets a lot of hate, but I absolutely loved his run. And same with your Batman and Superman. Like, I think since Tom King's run, Batman has gotten so convoluted, with the huge crossovers with Fear State and, all the multi-dimensional crossing. I think a lot of people are looking for a grounded Superman story. And I think that's what you're bringing is, just
Thanks.
bringing back Batman and Superman, just stories that everybody can relate to, that they can jump into without knowing, oh, Batman lost his hand and now he has a
Right.
clone's hand, that sort of thing.
And fun stories, but not lightweight stories, not stories that have no meaning or impact, not fun in the sense of dismissive, because a lot of this stuff does have an impact in the DC universe in the day, right? Up to this present, I try to make sure that most, if not every arc has some element to it that also is reflected in present day continuity. So
yeah, that and definitely heart, you can definitely feel,
Thanks.
the heart in your writing as well.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're one of the good ones, man. You write the Superman that people can look up
Thanks.
to, can be
Yeah.
inspired by, and might have flaws here and there, but it's okay. Because we've had some people that have to. I'm not going to go into too much, but there've been some Supermans that aren't that respectable, and
Yep.
I like that Philip Kennedy Johnson is, and you both are pretty much on the same track with it. It's like,
I
if
really
you
like
write
what
it
he's
the other
done.
way, then it's not Superman. Make another superhero, because it's not
Right.
Superman if he doesn't stand up for the
Right.
people and for everything.
Yeah, Josh Williamson does a good job. I think that, Dan Slott's doing some interesting stuff over in Superman Unlimited. I think that it's a really good time to be a Superman fan. I really believe that. I think the books are humming in a way that I haven't seen them like that tuned into each other in a long time.
We need a Superman right now. We really,
Yeah,
really do.
desperately.
Yeah,
Desperately.
absolutely. And I think it's just, again, I think the other thing that is that you still like you, Mark, you're a writer, but you're still also a comic fan. So you
Oh
you
yeah.
love these characters, and I think love is what pushes. Again, you ask the questions that we're standing in line. Whereas, like, I've been a part of those conversations where I'm just BSing with fans, and I'm like, we'll spend an hour debating these things, and it's like some of the how did I put it? It's the best conversations about nothing and everything all of it.
Well, it's all about that. I love these characters. I just love these characters. If I were not writing comic books for a living, I don't think I'd be a writer. I think I'd be doing something else for a living. I think I'd have a skill at writing, and I think I had a skill at being a writer when I was in high school, but not fiction. I was going to journalism major. I was going to be, a reporter. I didn't have any aspirations of being a fiction writer until I was working at DC as an editor, and I thought, maybe I can make this happen. And it really does come to the fact that I love these characters, and you can tell. Like, if you hand me a fill-in issue of something that I'm not a huge fan of, I'll do my best, but there's a certain spark. If you hand me a Firestorm issue to do, I'm going to do my best, but that secret sauce is not going to be there.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's also funny because I mean you've been writing for decades now,
Yeah.
and like to my mind, I'm like, I literally was like, what hasn't he done? And I'm like, I'm sure that there are things, you know, but I was like, your career spanned where you've literally touched on so many characters, not just in Marvel, but DC. I mean, you know, all of these. I was like, one way or another, like you wrote somebody or something, and I'm just like, where do you go? I'm like, no, you keep going up. Like
Yeah, the
you,
hardest question I have is when people are like, well, what have you not done that you want to do? I'm,
I'm doing it.
I've done every. I don't. The guy I know. If I by this time, if I wanted to do it, I would have done it. You know.
Right. So, you know, but and it's funny because you're talking, and I was like, I'm just imagining you as like alternate Mark Waid. I was like, he's an ad man.
Yeah.
For a second, I'm just thinking. I was thinking like, yeah. I was just like, he's selling ads.
He's selling ads, or he's a psychologist, or something. I don't know. That's probably what I would have been. I probably would have been. I would have been a decent psychologist. I think.
You
Well, you take
That's
off your
an
glasses and your
interesting.
Chip Zdarsky, so you know.
There you go. Don't insult me, young lady. Don't. That's a mean thing to
Wow,
say.
Kari.
Chip. I'm sorry. What was that last name? Zdarsky. I've heard of him. He's a comer.
I've heard of
I
him.
predict big things someday.
like,
You just become Canadian, you know. It's how it
Yeah.
works.
oh
Sorry.
my god.
I just couldn't resist that from last year.
So,
To his credit, Chip played along nicely. There was a time I had to interview. He had a panel at a convention. I think it was WonderCon spotlight panel. He asked me to moderate for whatever reason, or they asked me to moderate or whatever. And I sat down with him. And I said, "Oh, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pretend like I'm actually here to interview Gail Simone, and all my questions are gonna be for Gail Simone, and I want you to just answer whatever you want.
Oh my god.
Pay no attention to the questions, just say whatever you want." So it was always like, "So, Chip, I see here you've had a big run on Birds of Prey. What was that like?" And that Chip's key to go off on Howard the Duck or whatever. And so we're like giving two completely different. And he played along quite nicely. It was a lot of fun.
oh,
That's
is awesome.
great.
Gotta find that
Is
interview.
that up anywhere? Yeah.
I don't think so.
gotta
I
find
would. I don't know that it's online. I would hope it would be, but I don't know.
God, if it is, we're gonna repost that. We're
But
gonna be like,
enough about Chip Zdarsky.
right. More about Mark Waid. Okay, well, there's something I don't know if I asked this before, and I apologize. When you're writing, do you listen to anything? Like, do you listen
No.
to music? Do you have things?
No.
All right,
My house is the quietest place on earth. I can listen to soundtracks sometimes, but I can't listen to anything with lyrics because the words just get in my head. I can't have the TV on in the background. I can't even write in a coffee shop unless I've got the noise canceling earphones on. I've just got
That would
to
actually be hilarious having Batman singing throughout the entire
sing,
thing.
and suddenly
What
singing,
does Mark
yeah.
Waid listen to when he's not writing?
Man, I am stuck in the 70s. I'm sorry. I am
Oh,
just
that's
completely
okay.
grounded in that decade. And so it's that or Elvis or
oh man,
Oh,
I
I've
don't-
become one of those people. The music today just sucks. So I'm
look,
with you.
it's the music today is as good as it ever was.
Not for me.
Every time Saturday Night Live comes on, I have no idea who this musical guest is. So, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. And sometimes the sound engineering is so bad that they could be good, but I can't hear a goddamn word they're singing. I will say I'm not a Taylor Swift fan per se, but I went to see her concert film just to see. And
Right.
oh my God, I get it. Like I totally get it. I don't choose to listen to her when I've got nothing else to listen to, but I get it.
Philip Perrin, Leo's friend there, would be very happy to know that he shares a
common thread.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest mistakes I made was telling him where she lives because she lives like 40, not like half an hour away from me, and it's every time he comes down this way, he has to like drive by her house.
Oh my God,
not creepy at all.
No, not at all.
So Mark, I have to ask this because you mentioned music. Does this mean that do you ever do like karaoke, or you're like no, like you just are a fan?
No, I can sing. I can flat out sing, pal.
Yeah?
I'm not going to be on American Idol next week or anything like that, but I got some pipes. I got some chops. So
you can do a decent enough.
I'm sorry?
So you can do like a decent, like, see if you were Carrie like Elvis or something
Yeah.
from the 60s, you could, oh,
Although I
that,
wouldn't do an Elvis imitation, because that's the thing about, you know, I mean, I'm not, anybody can do that. People make entire livings doing that. So I have no interest in being, you know, but I'll sing a lot of Elvis at karaoke. I'll sing a lot of older stuff. I'll sing a lot of, I'm good with torch songs. I'm like, that's actually that's my wheelhouse. And like the great torch songs of the 30s and 40s. So
that's fantastic.
So
No,
next time that we're all at Terrificon together, we're going to grab you for karaoke
grab me
afterwards.
and go listen to me sing Stardust. Yes, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
we'd be like, guys, strictly 50s to 70s. The second we start dipping into 80s, Mark's like, all right, I'm gonna head out.
Start weaving out of the road. Exactly. Look, it's, you know, it's,
Gotta write more
I mean,
super. Sorry, I gotta
there's
go.
no, there's great music, but nobody can hit the notes on Take on Me. Nobody can hit those notes. So
That's true. I'm not gonna lie.
anyway,
Yeah.
I know we are coming up on time. I wanted to ask here, with would DC the movie side definitely getting a reboot with DCU? It seems like DC Comics, with a lot that you've been writing, has been DC in the past, and it seems like that is getting like a soft reboot as well. Is it okay to think that, or is there hope that everything is going to get fixed?
I think so. I mean, I think that I know this sounds like I'm saying it because that's where I work, but I'm not. I'm saying this because I love these characters. I have not seen DC kicking this much ass in such a long time.
Mhm.
There have been times when I've read like 6 DC books a month, maybe. And
Right.
now I'm just, everything comes in, and do I love everything equally? No. But are they firing on almost all cylinders? Yes, more than I've ever seen. And so there really is a renaissance there. And it helps that the bench is deep. It helps that the talent there is really solid, as opposed to other companies where it just kind of feels like it's the same 4 writers doing all their books, and it all kind of sounds the same, So
Yeah. Well, there's something that I also just want to say is I love, because again I follow you on social medias, and I love that to see you post photos with cosplayers you see at conventions.
yeah,
Like, that is just the best, because being somebody who cosplayed a lot of specific characters and got to meet the creators and just had, like, as a fan, as a cosplayer, I just want to say, like, that is just the best thing, not just to see, but also to experience. So just thank you on that end, because that's
no,
just,
it's so cool when somebody walks up to you in a costume of a character that you created. It's just, impulses and this and that. And somebody I've seen 2 fusions, that Superman Batman amalgam that we used in World's Finest, that's coming up again in issues 45 through 47.
right.
And he looks spot on. Like the guy I saw most recently at the Baltimore show, I think it was. It's like, Jesus, you look like you step out of the comic book. So 3D printing
Cool.
has helped a lot, hasn't it? 3D
Oh,
printing
yeah.
has probably been the biggest boon to cosplay since anything.
Absolutely living the
That,
dream.
that fusion though is amazing. That's yeah.
It astounds me. He was on one cover, and he was in 7 pages of one issue, and he has an action figure, and he has a Funko Pop, and everyone loves that character, which is why finally, after trying to find a way to do it, it finally made sense that we're doing it in issues 45 through 47. Yeah. And then 48 and 49 of World's Finest are the ones that star not Superman and Batman, but Ultraman and Owlman on Earth 3.
Right.
And then issue 50 is me and Dan coming back together to do something special for issue 50.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. So great. I don't know, Kari, Jeremy, did you have any other questions?
I'm pretty good. I think we should wrap. No.
I was just gonna.
Very good.
Dylan had another question real quick from. Do you do Sinatra?
I can do a little Sinatra. That's a tough one to do. I'm more Bobby Darin than Sinatra, but yeah.
Oh wow.
We'll have some fun. Because I'll
Look, my
I'll jump
fiance
in
would
and
love
do
it. My
some stuff.
fiance would nothing happier would make her than if you drag me out to karaoke, because the one thing I can't bring myself. I will sing karaoke all night. If you put me alone in a room with my friends, I can't do it. I can't sing in public that way. It's just I don't know what that divide is. I have no idea what that particularly particularly weird thing in my head is, but it kills her that we've been together for 8 years. She's heard me sing twice. But if you put me on if you put a karaoke mic in my hand, yeah, I'll go all night. So
Right.
I've got a fondness for things that just songs that nobody else likes or whatever, but I think are fun. Like, do you know Maresy Dotes and Dozy Dotes?
oh sure, of course, Little Lambs Eat Ivy, of course, yes.
Yes, it's been stuck in my head for years because a friend of mine put Maresy Dotes and Dozy Dotes and Little Lambs Can Bite Me when he was having a rough day once. And so now I have that song permanently engraved in my brain and I sing it constantly.
For those who
But you
don't
need
know, we're talking about
somebody
a song
who
that was
can
written in
bounce.
like 1912.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
thank you. And now you know.
So yeah, but it's a fun little song. I know it. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll
thanks
have
for
to
putting
get
it in
you
my
to sing
head.
that
Now
with
it's
me
going to be my earworm for the
You're
rest of the night.
welcome.
Thanks so much.
I
But-
mean,
Jesus.
My wife introduced me to the cheese tax song the other day.
Oh my
I
God.
don't even want to know. I don't
No.
want to know. You can just
Oh, Mark, you're smart.
Yep.
Don't ask him that because he's going to tell you, and you're going to be like, "Wow, I didn't need to know that." But that no, I'm sorry. Now I feel like I have a no go. I was like, try to karaoke with Mark Waid. It's like, okay, give it 10 years. But
I only sing AC/DC in karaoke.
that's still pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I like to.
Nobody can tell whether you're good or bad if you're singing
Exactly.
AC/DC, so
I just scream, and everybody's like, "Oh wow!"
Yeah, the place that I go to karaoke every week, every once in a while, a guy dressed as Elvis shows up. So I'm just like, okay, well that happens, and I'll send a photo to my mother. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to tell you this, but Elvis is in the building, and she's with a photo. Wow, what did she do? He did Suspicious Minds and Hunka Hunka Burnin' Love, and she was like, good choices. I'm like, I'm aware.
Suspicious Minds, that's a 7-minute song. That's the thing about that song. That is a 7-minute song. Anybody stands up and starts doing American Pie, I'm like, oh Jesus. I mean, it's a great song, but it's 8 minutes 49 seconds. It's like you're in for the night.
Yeah, some like that.
David.
The same reason I only ever did Meat, because I was like, that's just so much guitar, and I was like, I'm just standing here awkwardly waiting this guitar finished. I was like, never again. Like, did it? Like, just like your DC, new DC. Like, great, did it? Never again.
Here are the two things about music I learned last week. One is that the woman who wrote the song September for Earth, Wind, and Fire, which everyone who's ever been to a wedding knows, is also the one who wrote the Friends theme, which I love. Because I think of them as like decades apart, but they're not. They're like 15 years apart. The other thing I can tell you is the song Inagata Davida. Do you know where this song gets its name?
No.
Yes.
The singer who was trying to sing it was so effed up on shrooms and whatever else. He was trying to sing In the Garden of Eden. And it just wouldn't come out of his mouth. He was that messed up. True story.
That's
interesting.
Thank you. That did not
make sense.
So you've learned nothing about my comics, but we've learned a lot about a bunch of other stuff. So
yes,
I am a man of many facets. So listen, I do have to split. Comics can't write themselves, and
thank you for coming. Yeah, absolutely.
My pleasure.
But thank you so much. So, but before you go, are you doing any other conventions for the rest of the year, or are you just chilling?
There's one more for the rest of the year. There's a convention in Detroit. Middle of next month, and that's the last one for the year, but we're building out the schedule for 2026. And if you go to markwaid.com, which has been completely rebuilt from the ground up, so it looks like it wasn't made in 2006, there's all my convention appearances there, content information if you want me to at a show, that kind of stuff. So any news about upcoming stuff, and you want to see what my books are coming out this week or next week or whatever, it's all there. So convention appearances will be announced there. Yes.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I was just going to ask about social media, so we'll just go to your website and you can catch all that deets.
Yep.
Great. All right. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Good luck with everything you're working on, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you at a convention we're all at. Maybe next year's Terrificon or something like that. But it would be fantastic.
That's a great show. I'd love to see you there.
You've got to introduce us to Gail Simone sometime too.
Sometime.
Sometime.
If you play your cards right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dylan. Thanks,
Have a
Dylan.
great one, Mark.
Thanks, Lasso.
And
Yeah, take care.
when you pop on out, if you don't mind leaving the uploads, if you can,
Sure.
if you can, I
Yeah,
know
for
you
the
know
yeah.
time schedule, so.
I know my StreamYard. Yes, I know my StreamYard chops now. Yes. All right. So I'm going to sign out, and then I'll just leave it running.
Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
very
Thank
Good
you so
night.
much,
Take care.
sir.
Awesome. Very,
I
very
love him.
cool.
well.
He's amazing.
That's interview number 3.
Yeah.
So
So
Is
just
that the
so,
third one?
yeah.
we have got to stop tripping over ourselves. I was like, oh my god, we're like kids in a candy shop who went that one big gumball.
We
Like-
got to use the private chat more.
Yep.
Most times
totally.
we talk over each other. This time we were all like, "Who's next?"
I mean, he
Yeah.
called out on it. He was like,
know.
yeah, there's right now, and I was like, well, you guys didn't want me to talk, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
Well, it's
Well,
it's such a rarity. Like, I think we were in shock.
Wow.
What that I was quiet for once?
Yeah.
I hate no, hold on. I hate you. I hate you, Squirrel. You're good. And hell with you, curly-haired one. I'm out. Thank you. Get
Okay.
all of
Just so I can torture you all. So the cheese tax, you got to pay the cheese tax. Every time you're cooking, when the cheese comes out, the puppy comes a looking. The rules are the rules, the facts are the facts, and when the cheese drawer opens, you got to pay the tax. Hand it over quick, or things might get ugly. I can get really loud. I'm a really barky puppy.
Why are you like this? Who did what
Is cheese good for dogs?
Yeah.
who did who hurt-
Cheddar is acceptable and Parmesan is fine, but a little bit of Gouda would really blow my mind. There's no escaping, so don't try to dodge. Pay the dairy tariff, the collection of homage.
Dude, the rest of his booze is over there, and I can't reach it. And you're gonna drive Ratatosker into a coma tonight if you keep doing this to us.
I made a cheese kind of bread thing tonight for dinner that I should have paid the cheese tax on. My dogs were hounding me.
No. You're not gonna make the thing. No. You're not making
So now you know that's what you got to do. When you open up cheese, you got to pay the tax.
Gotta pay the tax.
The
That's
tax
why
for
they're
tax.
hounding me.
Yeah.
You ever hear Shiba Inu wine? Oh my god.
Oh.
So
It sounds like a goat bleat. Like, nah.
I'm just hearing both of you. Kari, are we doing anything Kickstarter wise, or did you want to just put that for another week?
I could go ahead and just show you what I got,
Show us what
and
you
then we
got.
could show you what my latest stuff
Leo
that I got was, and then we can oh well, maybe not then. Just
I don't
fuck this.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
No,
don't want to do that.
I'm here. I just needed to stretch my leg.
I know.
Do you want to on to our masses? You just like, no, I don't want to the same stretch. Okay. All right, fine.
Well, you should have seen him. He put his leg up behind his head and was like,
I mean, good either way, but it's whatever you want to do. I mean, again, we just did the interview. If you want to, if you want to save that for next week, that's fine. But if you want to do it now, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I didn't tag them in it, so let's just wait until next week. We have one from Carissa where she did not break Kickstarter for once. I was like, you can only get like 30 add-ons instead of over 100. Carissa, you're slacking. What's up?
I feel like we need to give her like a plaque. Like, congrats for breaking Kickstarter 3 times in a row. Like,
yeah.
The doomsday of Kickstarter's rules. All right. Well, then, you know what? Why don't we just, Leo, do you want to just wrap it up and then we'll just all that.
Yeah, totally. So I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Definitely check out the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Go check out Mark Waid. If you're not reading his stuff, what the hell are you doing? You know, I got pretty much everything of his on my pull list, and yeah, it's just friggin' phenomenal. So we will kick it on over to Jar Jar.
Hey. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, blah blah blah, all of them. Follow me.
Awesome. Kari.
Look there. If you see a very judgmental crow, that is me. You can find my stuff for here. You can find my stuff for Owlite Network. You can find my stuff for when I write. And since we are not doing Kickstarter tonight, I would like to let you know that the Benjamin Hunting Kickstarter that we were talking about last week is now fully funded, but there's still 7 days to go on that one. Antimatter from Dean Haspiel is now fully funded, but you still have 4 days to go and pick up on that one. And I had mentioned and taken us through Nicholas Doan's Pray for Death. There are 3 days left to go on that one, and it's down about $950 from hitting the end. So if you want a really, really interesting horror comic that just looks gorgeous, please go check that out. Get yourself set up for it. Those are the ones that could need your help. I've already covered all of them, though, so I'm not going to take you through them again. And
Awesome.
yes, you absolutely need to go check out Batman and Robin Year One. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, Drew.
Oh, beautiful.
Hey, you are a bagel. So hi, thank you for joining us. Mark Waid, definitely. We do as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed or following us. We got still a ton of things that are coming out. We have some crazy last 2 months planned. We're going to really do our best to end this year with a bang. But not maybe I don't know. But you need to chat with me. I'm Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can look me up. I'm there. Also, make sure to tune in next week, as we will have the great Kelly Thompson is going to be stopping by again. So we're definitely going to be talking to her about some of her work, but especially about what's been up with Absolute Wonder Woman since we last saw her. Keep in mind, last time we saw her, issue 1 had just dropped. So now we're almost at issue 14. So lots definitely happened there. So super duper pumped. If you need to touch me, I don't know, just talk to my agent.
With that, we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.